Of course, this all sounds like a crazy theory, but there are over 12 million Americans who believe in the Reptilian Elite theory. It's made many people wonder if it could possibly be true. The Reptilians come from the Draco Constellation, which is a set of stars visible with the naked eye year-round. But could these aliens have made it to Earth to enslave humans? It may be impossible to spot one since they have the ability to shapeshift and look like us. The theory has seemed to gain popularity in recent years, and despite it being unusual, it's still a fascinating hypothesis on how our world works. Here is the secret truth about the Reptilians. Number 11. The origins of the theory. So where did it begin? A famous author by the name of David Icke wrote a book that grabbed quite a bit of attention. In this book called The Biggest Secret, the book that will change the world, he explains that humans on Earth are controlled by a secret society of humanoid aliens who are originally from the form of reptiles. In this book though, he explains how the reptilians operate, where they come from, and more things we'll explain later on in this video. Number 10. Reptilian traits in humans. Now keep in mind that humans evolved from reptiles who evolved into mammals millions of years ago. And you may be more reptile than you once thought. A part of our brain is often referred to as the reptilian brain and is responsible for the fight or flight reflexes as well as fear-evoking actions. Every one of us has this reptilian trait, but others will display more reptilian traits than others. For one, lizards prefer warmer climates in order to heat up their cold blood. They also prefer less sunlight and come out at night due to their hypersensitive eyes. They may also have Rh-negative blood, according to David Icke. Rh-negative blood, which is also a mystery, doesn't contain the rhesus protein, which is a protein that's been left over after humans evolved from apes. So, if they don't have this protein, does that make them not human? People with Rh-negative blood are apparently more often than not people with green or blue eyes and reddish hair. Some feel as though Rh-negative blood could mean you're an alien hybrid and more likely to work as an influential politician for the CIA or have some kind of royal descent. Number 9. Ancient origins. Many believe it was reptilians who provided mankind with the proper genetic material in order to make us advanced enough to actually build a civilization, yet dumb enough to control. The few that actually bred with the reptiles became somewhat godlike and were able to become ruthless leaders, such as kings and queens of ancient civilizations. As humanity began to prosper, the reptilians began setting up colonies around the world in order to assure a firm grip on races in every continent. This is why we see reptiles worshipped as gods in many different cultures, such as the Aztecs and the ancient Egyptians. Here in this sculpture, he's featured right next to Pharaoh Amenhotep III. Number 8. The Ubaid Lizard Man. It's common to find some snakes and lizards around the banks of the Euphrates and Tigris rivers, but you probably wouldn't expect to find anything like this. The Ubaids were the pre-Sumerians who inhabited Mesopotamia around 5000 BC. It's difficult to call them a civilization due to the lack of infrastructure, but they seem to be around Mesopotamia during the time when all kinds of crazy things were taking place. This figurine here seems to show what looks like a humanoid lizard creature who is feeding their offspring in a similar manner to how humans do. This is particularly strange since lizards are reptiles and definitely don't do this. What also is interesting about this discovery at the Tel Al-Ubaid dig site is that it's quite close to the city of Ur. It seems to remain a mystery to archaeologists what role this figurine would have played in their lives. Was it the work of their imagination, or were they possibly exposed to some type of lizard person like we see here? Number 7. What do they look like? It may be impossible to spot one since they have the ability to shapeshift, and the hybrids look exactly like us. Many claim that slowing down footage of a reptilian can show some traits. In a video of Justin Bieber at court, he appears to blink, and by slowing down the footage, you can see in this photo that one of his eyes changes colors. Other videos on YouTube often show how people's teeth, tongue, and eyes suddenly change. In their original form, reptilians are about 6 to 8 feet tall, have piercing green, blue, or hazel eyes. Their greenish, scaly skin helps prevent them from lacking moisture and allows them to go long periods of time without water. They often lack any empathy, are highly intelligent, and have an obsession with astronomy. Do you know someone who might be like this? Number 6. The Lizard Man of Scape or Swamp. What are the odds a reptilian-like creature is roaming the swamps of South Carolina? It apparently hasn't figured out how to shapeshift just yet, or maybe was caught off guard by some local residents. This is certainly no hoax, according to the sheriff of Lee County, South Carolina. People originally thought it was a bear, but it had 3 fingers and a long tail. Over a dozen people of this rural county had made testimonies which all matched. The first sighting of this lizard man came from a local 17-year-old and was featured on the newspaper. Although he was a young witness, he gave a very compelling testimony, claiming he was about 7 feet tall with 3 fingers, red snake-like eyes, and scales. In Bishopville, a man reported that his car was damaged by this creature. Manage to explain to your insurance company about that. Nonetheless, this photo was taken, which is either a very well-made costume or the real lizard man. Number 5. Reptilians in ancient art. So many cultures from around the world talk about mythical dragons that come from the sky. It seems as if each and every culture has at least one mention of a reptile as a god or a divine being as far back as the Mesopotamians. Could this all be a coincidence? The Hindus talk about a god named Naga, who is a snake that can change into the form of a human. It's also responsible for bringing natural destructions and chaos among people. The snake is also represented as a conniving creature in the story of Adam and Eve. Another ancient Egyptian god represented as a reptile is that of Apep, the bringer of darkness and chaos. How is it that reptile creatures in so many different cultures are always portrayed as something evil? David Icke claims that this is from widespread reptilian rule across the planet. Number 4. Reptilian Hierarchy. There are 2 main types of reptilians. There are the crossbreds between humans or different aliens and the full-blooded reptilians. The full-blooded reptilians consciously know where they're from and know that they're not human. These reptilians, of course, have more power. They've also found the power to shapeshift, not by changing their physical form, but by actually creating vibrations that alter the human mind. The crossbreds appear to look completely human and have no knowledge that they're actually reptilian. They're also controlled by full-blooded reptilians in order to complete their objective known as the New World Order. This includes total control of things such as the media, politics, armies, banks, and other things. Among the 2 full-blooded reptilians, there are the Dracos, who are originally albino and are in charge of the species known as the Reptoids. The Reptoids are then sent to Earth in order to develop technology used for warfare and plot destruction. Number 3. Shapeshifting Politicians. In order to see some of the best evidence of reptilians actually existing, all you have to do is look it up on YouTube, and there it is. Video clips from live TV tend to show certain moments when shapeshifting might have gone wrong. This tends to happen at presidential gatherings where Secret Service members and high-ranking government officials are involved. During one of President Obama's gatherings, a venture capitalist named Lee Rosenberg, who's advised Obama on policies in the Middle East, was caught in the middle of a possible shapeshifting malfunction. You can tell his teeth no longer look human and has more pointed teeth you would see with reptile creatures. Many have had trouble trying to debunk it, and it may just be what it looks like. It almost looks as if he's made some kind of evil deal, which is allowing him to help rule the world. Go ahead and check it out on YouTube and tell us what your thoughts are on this. Number 2. Obama's alien shapeshifter bodyguard. Could there be an alien race sent down to Earth in order to protect our president? If our government is up to no good making deals with aliens, you'd have to believe that they would also send their representatives to Earth in order to keep an eye on us. They just want to make sure nothing goes wrong. The Secret Service could really be just that, a big group of reptilians. They could be using mind control in order to make human leaders make decisions that will benefit them. Or they could also be tracking the president wherever he goes in order to make sure he never says anything about aliens. If you look up this video, you'll notice the bodyguard acting very suspiciously. Something is just wrong about the shape of his head also from a distance. Not only does his head seem to be very strangely colored, but it's also his nose which appears to vanish. Did something go wrong with his shape-shifting device again, or what? Try to debunk it all you want, but something is seriously off about this whole bodyguard if you ask me. And number 1, what is their mission? David Icke claims that reptilians originally came to Earth in order to search for an extremely valuable precious metal known as monoatomic gold, which could stabilize the atmosphere on their planet. Being the ruler of our planet would, of course, bring them in a large amount of gold. What's quite interesting about this theory is that monoatomic gold is known to possess many benefits when ingested in small amounts. It's believed that it can regenerate cells, improve organ functioning, and also be able to increase DNA cells. It was highly valued for its mystical properties in the ancient times, as well as being magical. It's believed that the reptilians also used this for food, which made them more and more intelligent and able to rule the masses. You guys think Emmanuel Macron is a reptilian? Let us know in the comments section, and maybe we'll feature you in an upcoming video. Wow, now that was a cool video, wasn't it? Be sure to check out more of my cool videos over here on American Eye. We'll see you there.